10 questions to guide your adaptation. These are not story-building questions. Your story already exists. These are localization audits to ensure your transformation is complete. Question 1. What are you calling the power system? The source calls it system, cultivation, or magic. What Indian term captures the same weight? Options to consider: Antarvani, inner voice, for system stories; Sadhana or tapasya for cultivation; Siddhi Pranali for gamified powers; Shakti Jagran for awakenings. The test. Say it out loud in dialogue. Does it sound natural? Question 2. What is your power vocabulary? List every power and skill term from your source story. What's your Indian equivalent for each? For example, level up becomes utkarsh or siddhi prapt. Skill points become shakti ank or siddhi bindu. Quest becomes abhiyan or kartavya. Breakthrough becomes jagran or mukti. The test. Is it consistent? Would a listener learn this system without confusion? Question 3. Where is this story set? Not just India, but where in India? What region, what era, what specific texture? Consider a specific city's entertainment industry: Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai. Or a particular village's agriculture and festivals. Or an urban supernatural underworld geography. Or whether it's historical period or modern day. The test. Could you describe the smell, the sounds, the weather of your world? Question 4. How does your hero speak? What's their dialect, their speech pattern, their vocabulary level? Consider regional flavor: Bombaya, Bihari, Punjabi, South Indian. Class markers: educated, street smart, rural. Age-appropriate language and slang. How they address elders, peers, and enemies. The test. Read their dialogue aloud. Does it sound like a real person from your setting? Question 5. What makes the social context feel Indian? The source has a specific injustice or social structure. How does that manifest in Indian society? Consider the weight of nepotism and connections in industries, joint family expectations and interference, class discrimination and status, small town versus big city dynamics. The test. Would an Indian listener feel the unfairness in their gut? Question 6. What Indian mythology does your supernatural draw from? Even if you invent something new, what existing legends does it echo? Your supernatural should feel like it could exist in temple stories and local legends, in grandmother's warnings, in regional folklore, in Puranic or Tantric traditions. The test. Could you explain what this entity or power is to your grandmother? Question 7. How do relationships code Indian? Elder respect, friendship intimacy, romantic restraint, family obligation. How do these show in your adaptation? Consider how characters greet each other. Physical touch norms, forms of address, aap, tum, or tu. Unspoken family expectations. The test. Do your characters interact the way Indians actually do? Question 8. What details make your world feel lived in? Food, clothing, festivals, daily routines, slang, curses. What's specific to your version? List 10 details that only exist in your adaptation. What they eat and when. What curses and exclamations they use. What festivals interrupt the plot. What the streets, rooms, and spaces feel like. The test. Could someone recreate your world's daily life from your script? Question 9. Where have you added, not just translated? What moments did you expand because they resonate more for Indian audiences? Look for opportunities. Family scenes that hit harder here. Humor that's funnier in Indian context. Emotional beats that need different expression. Cultural moments the source couldn't have. The test. What would an Indian listener love that the original audience might not notice? Question 10. The final test. Does it feel like translation or creation? Read your adaptation blind. If someone heard this without knowing the source, would they ever guess it wasn't originally Hindi? The test. Give it to someone who doesn't know the original. Ask where they think it's from.